Hello, welcome. Time for another IELTS 9 Pro essay introduction review. First of all, disclaimer, just in case anybody complains about the copyright of the essay question, etc. Fair use under teaching, under section 107. So just to make sure people are not too upset by that. So, we believe a very good essay starts with a very good introduction. I think it does, because, as a criteria says, we want a clear, fully developed position which directly answers the question. And I think that the best way to do this is right from the start in your introduction, lay out exactly what your main ideas are and where the essay is going. I think that's a pretty sound as a strategy. Okay, so we can certainly take a look at that. So it's an advantages and disadvantages discussion essay. So these days, more and more people are going to other countries for significant periods of time, either to find a job or to study. There are clearly many benefits to doing this, but people who live abroad can also face some difficulties. Discuss the advantages and disadvantages of living and working in a foreign country. So, as we've mentioned before, what you need to do for your essay, sentence 1, you have to restate the topic in paraphrase, then give an outline, depending on what the rubric says. If it says, give your opinion, what are the advantages, blah, 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 make sure that you include that in your introduction. So, let's have a look at some paraphrasing. So, to find a job or to study, for work or study, benefit, advantage, you could do it positive and negative. The same with difficulties, disadvantages, drawbacks, etc. Going to other countries, living abroad, etc. So the thesis, the outline, the main advantage. Now, I know it says discuss the advantages and disadvantages in plural. I know it says this. However, nothing to stop you from saying, well, I think that, there could be many different things, but I think the main advantages, when you explain that, the main disadvantage or the main drawback to this is blah, blah, blah. Okay? So, I think the main advantage is new culture, new language, new experience, etc. However, possibility of culture shock depending on where you go in the world. So, my introduction, it has been argued that living abroad, either for work or study, has many benefits as well as drawbacks. This essay will argue that the main advantage is the chance to experience a new culture. So that's what we'll be talking about in paragraph 2. Main disadvantage is the possibility of culture shock, and that's what we'll be talking about in paragraph number 3. So pretty straightforward, and I think, it's pretty clear and directly tells a reader where the essay is going, which is the object of the exercise. Now let's have a look at some of yours. Now let me save some changes. Okay, where are we? So, yes. And there's only 4 today. I don't know why in the last week or 2 we haven't had as many introductions. I think possibly because people have to subscribe now, but that's not expensive, and you get the chance to have your full essay assessed and scored. As a matter of fact, if you take a look, I've done one video, I think 2 or 3 now, of full essay scoring, and I'm doing another one just after this, which should be taken from one of these essay introductions here. I'm not sure whose it is yet. Haven't had a look. Payman sent it to me a while ago. Who is it? It's this one. So I'll be doing a full assessment and scoring on this particular essay in a bit. Okay. Today, an increasing number of people tend to migrate abroad with the purpose of finding a better job or carrying on studies, their studies for a specific time. This, however, don't need that comma, has some benefits. Why is there however? There's no however. There's no. You only use however if you're showing a contrast, and there's no contrast to be shown as yet. So you could simply say this has some benefits, like getting more opportunities for occupation. You mean for finding a job? I think that's. I mean, for finding a job and have a chance to study the best universities. Now, however, you can put it here. However, those people, referring to those people migrating abroad, can face some possible either some drawbacks or possible drawbacks, including struggling to live with a new culture and a new language as well. Okay, not too bad. Basically the same idea as I would say. Basically the same. Oops, why did I skip? Oh, sorry. So, not too bad. And I missed this one out. Okay. Today, an increasing number of people go to foreign countries to look for a good job or study. Some advantages to this trend. My view, language wasn't the culture, are the benefits. Well, we don't need of it. The possibility of feeling homesick is a distinct disadvantage. That's pretty good. There you see. Nice and clear, direct, to the point. Okay, that's pretty good. Don't have to say anything more. That one's not too bad. As we've just seen, I'll be scoring the full essay in a while. Today, a growing number of people are emigrating abroad for a considerable time span for finding a job or studying. Does it talk about the time? Have a look. Significant periods of time. Okay. For finding a job or studying, in spite of plenty of merits, in spite of there being, what am I doing? In spite of there being plenty of merits, such as better career prospects and more rewarding educational facilities. Yeah, good. Living in a foreign country causes a couple of troubles, or can cause, or can cause a couple of troubles. Now, causing trouble, a couple of troubles, we don't really use troubles as a countable noun. Can cause, let's just make it some trouble. Okay, then we don't have to use that. For immigrants, namely coping with different cultures and being away from family and friends, so home sickness essentially. Okay, that's pretty good. Again, these introductions so far, pretty good. Nowadays, majority of people, well, it's not a majority. It says more and more people. That's not necessarily indeed, well, no, it is not a majority. A majority means when most people, but it's not, because that would be quite strange, because your country would be empty. So that's not so good. Not a majority nowadays, and it should have an article, but it's not. A majority, make it some people, or more and more people, or an increasing number of people are leaving the country for a particular amount of time, for a certain amount of time, in view of looking for, with the view of looking for a job or studying overseas. Well, you don't need to say studying overseas, because if you're leaving your country, I mean, not every country is next to a sea, is landlocked, but you don't really need that, really, because it's abroad, you know. If you're leaving your country, by definition, you're going to a different country, a foreign country, so you are, in fact, abroad. Now, I've talked about these empty sentences before. Do you tell me? No, you don't. Can you see what I don't like about this? While there are considerable benefits of or to living abroad, there are significant drawbacks as well. Are you planning on telling me? No. So you can see why this is a better introduction, because clear, direct. Yeah, clear and direct. Clear and direct. So, not so good. That's what we need, an outline. What do you think is the better introduction out of these four? 1, 2, 3, but certainly not 4. So, not too bad then. All in all, just make sure that you paraphrase it correctly. It's not a majority, it's an increasing number. Put an outline, because this is essentially, it's an empty sentence, because that's what it says in, in the topics. Sorry, in the topic. So try and give an outline, or thesis statement, as some people call it. Okay, not too bad. So I'm going to get on with analysing and scoring this essay here. So hope you come back to the channel for that, and I'll see you in a bit.